All right. So yes, once again, good evening, guys. You're all welcome to our live session this evening. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. And yes, today's Monday, so of course the markets are very much open, and yes, the markets are moving really well. So I think we'll just take a little dive into what's been happening at least between since our last session, and yes, see what's happening. Um, so I'll share my screen in a bit. Let's see. I think we can hop onto the fundamentals first. So do I have that open? Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Sorry guys, just hold up. Let me pull up forex fraction. See what we have. I know we have like I think CPI retail sales. Let me just confirm. Okay. Let's see. All right. So okay. So can you guys see it now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So, but can you see my screen?
Um. Okay. I don't know whether it's my network or your screen
The
still
screen
low.
is blurred. The screen is blurred. We can't see the screen. We can't see your chat or anything displaying. Just showing your profile blurred.
Okay. Okay. I think it's general. Like your screen is not showing. Your screen is not showing anything.
Okay. Let me try again. All right. How about now?
Fortunately,
It's
still
the
the same.
same.
Sorry, what?
Still the same. Still the
It's still
same.
the same thing. It's still the same thing.
Uh, I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why that is.
Casey, I think that's the discrepancy because it's just like it shows like it's loading from your side.
Okay. I think so, but it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear from my end. Like I mean, on Telegram. I'm not sure. I'm not sure you guys can see it. So I'll try sharing again. So is this the same thing?
Yeah, of course, it's still the same thing. Of course.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can hop out and hop back in.
Yeah, of
Let me
course. Maybe
see.
you leave the live, then you come back. I think it will be much more better.
Yeah. Let me try that. All right. So let me try once again. Um, yeah. Okay. So can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sweet. That makes sense. Okay. So let's see. We're looking at Forex Factory just to have an idea of what we have for the week. So yes, like I said, we have CPI coming in this week, particularly tomorrow. So CPI coming out for the US. That's inflation, of course, inflation numbers. So inflation last time was at, let's see, 2.4%. I think the inflation has been cooling down. Hold up. Where's that? So inflation has been cooling down. I think there was a drop from 2 point, let me see, I think it was 2.6, 2.7 towards 2.4% the last time. So I'm trying to check something else. Okay, bar is good. Let's see. All right, exactly. So this is April, right? So inflation has been coming down because 2.7, 2.9, 3%, 2.8, and then 2.4. So pretty much a little decline in inflation. So the question is, what's going to happen this time? Are we going to have inflation numbers come out the same? In fact, that's what the forecast is expecting. But we really think that that's going to happen. I kind of think that as time continues to go on, inflation might start to rise once again, especially since the Fed cannot even cut rates at this time. Same Tuesday, we're having, of course, the Bank of England's governor, Mr. Bailey, who will speak. And on Wednesday, nothing too crazy. I think we just have this news for Australia. On Thursday, that's when we have retail sales, exactly. So PPI, like I said, and retail sales will come out on Thursday for the US. So retail sales month over month, and also core retail sales, PPI as well, month over month. We also have unemployment claims, and then the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, would speak. On Friday, we have consumer sentiment. So pretty much how are the consumers feeling? It feels like we're going to see an upbeat from that, but we're not sure yet. At least, of course, until Friday. So you see that the news this week kind of focuses more on the US dollar. So it's very important that if you have dollar-based positions and trades, you want to be on the lookout for some of these events. For example, CPI, PPI, retail sales, unemployment claims. These things might play a part in the markets this week. For the most part, like I said before, the markets opened really fast and really pacey. And yes, we have seen quite some movement. So I think we'll just go to the chart now and see if we can dissect these things a little bit. The first thing we have most likely seen on our various portfolios and charts is that the dollar has gained strength, right? The dollar is gaining so much strength. And the next thing you see is that the Swiss franc and the Japanese yen have weakened drastically. So yeah, let's get onto the chart and see how that is playing out. So hold on. Okay. Can you guys see my chart?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. So, let's see. Now, first of all, like I want to ask a question. What do you guys haven't seen what is going on with the Japanese yen and also the Swiss franc? What can you guys say? In my post earlier today, I said talk about sentiment, and I said
Hello?
that some of us who have been very consistent in life. Yes, Carlos, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd actually like to speak on what's currently happening on the market. Yes, I actually saw your update earlier today, and it was quite sweet. Like I saw it and I smiled at it because for a couple of months now, I'm actually a witness. Like the markets have been driven by sentiment quite frankly. There's no doubt about it. So, but what happened last week? Because I think it was around ending of last week. That was when dollar was finding support at 100. If I'm not mistaken, either 100 or 102 thereabouts. I'm not quite specific with the number, but that was the point that dollar was finding support at that level. So, and this week we saw the jump, and it's all in favor of the dollar pair, like or on the USD pair. It's all the odds are for the USD. So getting to see that last night, I was like, is it that market is about to follow its right way, or do what it's supposed to do? Like, is the sentimental drive of the market, is it coming to an end? But I haven't gotten to conclude on that. I'm still watching. I'm like, let's see what this week have to offer. Maybe after this week we can conclude on, oh, I think this is the end of the sentimental move of the market. You understand? So that's what I can say about the current move of the market and how I'm seeing the charts recently.
All right. Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to make a comment on the recent happenings? You see how we saw last month the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc gained so much strength. We saw the market really dump really hard last month. We talked about it, what could be behind it, and now we're seeing things start to happen differently. And these very things were the things I said that we said would most likely happen. So, what can you say about it?
Hello.
Yeah, Philip,
For
go
my
on.
for my comment, as you said, the market did open very hot and very volatile. It definitely tested the discipline and emotions of a lot of the traders, especially retail. And it also signaled a breakout and trend direction or weakness in the yen, strength in the dollar, as you said. And also there's weakness in the CHF as well. So definitely looking for opportunities now for holdouts and higher lows to be formed before taking your next trade.
Yeah, impressive. Yeah, same things we're looking at. Now, if we come back to the charts, first of all, the JPYs, let's focus our attention here a little bit. Now, I want us to kind of look at last month. So the dump started around here, right? Just at the start of April, we saw uncertainties around trade wars. Okay, so the tariff effects came into plan. We saw these tariffs roll out. Saw the countries that were affected. Um, China and the US were going at it, raising tariffs here and there. So we saw all of the uncertainties surrounding tariffs. And of course, like I said, the market had to move business sentiment. It was like the theme of the market at that time was, tariffs, trade wars, right? And it was like the market started to ignore just the regular fundamental data and would move just business sentiment because sentiments at the time were very strong. Now, sentiments, as we've explained, are emotions, right? Emotions of traders, collective emotions of traders, investors, the market entirely. So we saw a huge jump to the downside. Okay, reason being that the Japanese yen gained so much strength. And why did the Japanese yen gain so much strength? Of course, for very obvious reasons. The Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, the US dollar, gold are safe havens in times of uncertainty. Now, of course, the dollar was the focal point, which is why the dollar did not gain strength, right? The dollar had to dump massively. But now we see the Japanese yen, or we said the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, and gold gain strength so much. And that's why we saw this huge dump to the downside. We saw it, we witnessed it. But then I explained that the reason why the Japanese yen is so strong is not necessarily because the fundamentals are pointing to it. So I explained that sometimes the fundamentals and sentiment might not agree. These things can happen in the market. So we see this as an example. So this jumped, all of the JPYs jumped in fact, and then US JPY to the biggest hit because the dollar was, of course, the focal point of the entire the entire discussion. Now look at how low dollar dropped from somewhere around these highs down to the key level at 1.4. Now, personally, I never expected price to come and test this key level, but that's what happened. That's exactly what happened on USGPY. So, what are we now noticing? We're seeing the market pull back and reverse. Now, why is this happening? It is because once again the sentiment is switching. One of the reasons why we see sentiment switch is also because of the things happening. For example, there's progress with trade deals. I think the US and the UK are having progress with trade deals. I think we discussed that on Thursday. We also saw the United States and also China. I think it looks like they're trying to find a common ground. Maybe that's the case because over the weekend we saw President Trump say things that kind of explain that there might be some headway or some progress. Because I think on the 11th of May, which was yesterday, we saw a statement saying that the United States announces trade deal with China. That's some good news. So it's like the market is sharing that good news. So all the feelings of uncertainty is now starting to fade away. So the very reason for the strength in Japanese yen is no longer needed, if that makes sense. So it's not like everybody's now switching back to the original plan on in space. So that's why you see that for most of the JPYs, price is coming back to the levels where it kind of jumped from before. Okay, so when price was jumping, it felt like it was going to be the end of the world, but quite frankly, it wasn't. Now look at how once again how key levels are so important and how they play a vital role in holding price. So, which is why I was not so keen on trying to just leave the uptrend. Of course, this was a short-term downtrend on daily time frame, but now it's switching back to an uptrend. Now, I was only looking out for shorts if we genuinely broke out of this level, but we didn't, and we maintained this key level. That's really what has been happening on the JPYs and the Swiss franc pair. That's why you're seeing greens here, because the core currency, which is Japanese yen, and the Swiss franc, are now very, very weak. So it's like everyone just rewinding all of the orders that were transferred to Japanese yen and Swiss franc, just rewinding everything back. So these currencies are losing their value. The reason why people put money in there in the first place is no longer a problem, right? So the whole safe haven demand thing is most likely dying off. Now, mind you, there's headway, but it's not complete. So it means that it is still possible for things to go south, for things to go to shit. If shit hits the fan, then yes, of course, things can switch back to the downside once again. This just tells you how much risk management and how solid your system needs to be in times like this. Because you can see how the market can just move here one day, move here the next. So it is so important that you have a solid system, solid risk management, and the discipline to stay through to your system. So again, for the JPYs, I would only look for buys if we break above. Now we didn't come back here for a test, so of course, if we break back above, I'll look for buys. I was looking at swinging these lows, see if I can catch a huge move to the upside, but it does seem like the market may not pull back for that opportunity. So AJ, if we break back above the key level, of course, I'll look out for buys to the upside. Cat CHF, looks like we're going back to test key level. Fine, fantastic. So yes, I took a loss on this guy, but of course, if like the arrow depicts, if we break out and if we pull back, then I'm looking out for buys on CAT JPY. CHF JPY, we are still trying to break this level. We're still attempting. Now, the Swiss franc and the Japanese yen, they are both weak themselves, but I perceive a longer move in to the upside in the long run. So let's see how this plays out. Now, like I said, if we break out, then of course it really improves our trade. Now, just to mention once again, I hit a new equity high today because, like I said, the market has been moving really well, and it's been beautiful to see. And very impressive to see. Almost up 13% right now, which is impressive, right? And mind you, these pairs are just moving slowly. Of course, it will take time for all of these trades to play out. But yeah, so far so good. We're doing well, just about 13% as we speak. Let's see. Euro JPY. Okay, we're breaking out, which is good because I want to see this breakout. and I'll see how far we can break out and close as a breakout. If we're able to maintain that, then of course I'll look out for a retest to go long. So you see that I still have opportunities on the cards, and it just depends on how they set up. GJ, of course, pushing point, which is adding to the move we're seeing in my portfolio right now. So GJ is in profit. Now, this also explains why I had to re-enter GJ, right? Because we saw what happened. I got long, and at some point I was stopped out by a week. But because the key level was not validated, because the very reason why I entered the trade was so valid, I had to get back into the trade. So this tells you that when you take a loss, sometimes it's not because you were wrong. It's just that the market might be too chaotic for you to avoid some whipsaws. That's fine. So if I'm to count back, I think so far this year, let me see. I've recorded 4 losses in 2025, and so far I think it's one of the most impressive things I've recorded, and I'd like to keep it that way. Yusuf, you're here. Welcome. Promise you're here. Welcome. Good to see you guys. So, like I said, I've recorded 4 losses this year, which is impressive. So 4 losses in so far 5 months, right? And like I said, I'm trying to keep my losses as small as that, and not averaging too many losses every single year. The moment I focused on reducing my downside, I saw so much progress, and that's why I also explained this. That if you work on the bad aspects of your system, if you can reduce the losses, you're automatically increasing your profit, if that makes sense. So yeah, impressive feat. So GJ is pushing good, and yeah, let's see. I think the next level of interest would be somewhere around these highs, because I think we've broken. Let me see. I think we're breaking past this, so I think the next resistance might be here. I think somewhere around. So we'll see how this plays. Yeah, of course I'm expecting to hold on to this take profit, which means it will take more time. And yeah, I'm very open to waiting for this to play out. Up next we have ended the GPY. So yeah, same thing. No trades for me just yet, at least until we come back to some of these key levels. USGPY, interesting. Now, I didn't get the pattern I was looking for to get long, and yeah, so far UJ looks like a missed opportunity. Now, was this wrong to buy? It wasn't, and I made sure to point that out very clearly that it wasn't wrong to buy, but I wasn't going to buy on this system or using this system because of how I entered the trade. So this was not wrong, because for my pattern to set up, the market needed to break below 141, break back above, and then come back for a retest. Now, in all honesty, I didn't expect it to happen, but I was also going to wait for that to happen for me to get involved. But that's why I had to make sure to point out that this wasn't wrong in its sense. Just buying up the support wasn't wrong. And so far, we're pushing to the upside. So for me, I think UJ is going to be a missed opportunity. Not really missed, because it didn't set up according to how I was looking to get it. Let's see, AD card. I think we're still maintaining this this level. The question is, will this level be the lower high? That's what we'll find out. So we'll see. Euro card. Now we're back for the retest. I think some of you guys must have seen the alerts that popped out down here. Euro card is back for the retest, which is why I also love to set alerts at levels so that I can see when these things set up. So Eurocard is back for the retest, and I'm watching to see how price reacts. And from this reaction, I'll see if I'll look to go long or not. So yeah, let's keep an eye out for the Eurocard. Pound card pulled back today. Not too bad, not too bad. This is still sideways. I'm still expecting the breakout, to be honest. Now, some of these trades breakout, like CHF GPY and pound card, it will be really crazy. I think even GJ, because this is still somehow range, somehow in some sense. It's still like very much sideways. So I think these trades really need to break out and that's where we begin to see the money move. Enter the card turning back into purple, which is cool. So yeah, nothing to say much about this guy. Let's see. USD card. So we're back to the key level, but of course, like I explained, I need a breakout, right? So the first thing I'm looking for on USD card is this breakout. If we get it, then I'll be interested in a retest to go long. I expect USD card to touch some of these levels in the coming months. And now it's going to be another swing trade, but yeah, I'm open for it. I'm up for it. So let's see. Of course, patience is needed with this type of trade. So we'll see how this sets up. Euro AUD, not interested to be honest. Euro NZD, I'm not interested. Pound AUD, I am interested in this guy, but I'm not sure if we're going to have the retest. I'm not so sure. I have a lot down here, as you guys have seen. So if we do pop back in and set up, that would be fantastic because I love to buy G as well. So we'll see. Pound NZD still long. So yeah, put that break even on this guy. 80 USD. Interesting. So we hit this level, like I explained, and now we turned around from this guy, and it looks like we might be having the downside like we spoke of. Now, I'm not going to be surprised if we see the dollar gain so much strength for the next couple of months. I would not be surprised to see that because I've also explained multiple times that the dollar might gain strength. Of course, if the whole sentiment thing dies off and if there is progress with trade deals, then of course we might see the dollar strength. I explained that multiple times, and it just might be the case in these markets. So 80 USD, I expect to drop. EU, very interesting. So yeah, I'd like you guys to also make a comment on EU because I think we've been waiting for this guy. So especially in connection with our last discussion on what we've been saying about EU. So I want you guys to see something about it.
Okay, what I would say about EU is that we were waiting for a break of the key level and retest, and before like we will go short on it. We were initially we were thinking of break and retest for us to go long, but so far as that price of break the key level, we have to wait for a retest for on a key level then short. It's that's what I can say.
All right, thank you so much. Any other comments just before we?
Okay, for Euro USD, I think what is being expected, we might not get it. To be quite frankly, what we are expecting, we might not get it because though we can't really say if the market is back to its normal move. That's to say, if dollar have really regained the strength we are talking about. Just as I said, my first comment that this week would tell. That's to me personally. This week would tell, like how the week goes will make me determine. Okay, yeah, that this whole guys they are done with their sentiment. So personally, I'm saying EU dumping to the downside. Yeah, maybe it might come down to this other key level that we actually sold from before that got us stopped out. So we are just looking. Let's see what it has actually have to offer. That's it.
Yeah, thank you so much as well. Impressive. Any other person who would like to make a comment on?
Okay, so with the way we trade, I think we look for a monthly close below the key level, and then probably wait for a daily or weekly retest to the key level, and then go short on it. Or if the monthly candlestick closes above the key level as well, also look for buys to bit upside to the upside.
Very, very interesting too. Thank you so much. Now you see that as we explained in our previous sessions, the big question here was, are we going to take this as a break and retest, right? And we first of all had to go and look at the monthly, which was the first things we did to make sure that the uptrend is actually changing, right? We're actually switching back to the uptrend. And I made very important comments saying that if we actually have this as a clear breakout, then of course it might mean that the trend is changing, looking at how this is forming. But we have to be careful, right? Because the dollar is king. It remains king. And with the things that I saw, both the economies, the lagging economies, Europe is actually doing really bad. Looking at the fundamentals, Europe is down bad, to be honest. But again, the lagging difference, the divergence between these two economies, also coupled with the fact that the dollar was so undervalued, and there might be progress with trade wars. Then pairing with the technicals, right? I said we need to be clear or show of this as a breakout, because this could turn out to be a fake out. So we can't really do anything until we see that clear break and retest. Price has to come there and before our very eyes find support at the key level. Interestingly, we allowed the market to be the market, and here price is breaking below the key level once again. Now it has not completely done that. I mean, the week needs to end, but it's just showing you that so far it's not really giving us any reasons to go long on EU, right? Price is not really looking to find support, or so far it hasn't found support at this level. So if we're looking to go long, that idea will be scrapped out at the moment. Remember, a breakout is one thing, a retest and price finding support or resistance at the level is yet another thing. These things work hand in hand. So if this does not find a retest, or if this does not find support, it would mean that this breakout is a fake out. You get? And what that tells you is, yeah, we're headed back to parity, or at least we're headed back to the downside. So you see the importance of not just a breakout, but what the next candle will do. So you see why the breakout is important to me, yes, but how the next candle comes down to that key level also plays a vital role as to whether or not I will take the trade. So coming back to the monthly, this
Yeah, Kathy. Kathy, please. Today I was watching. I was saying that. So could you possible coming back to the range? What about the ranging market there? Like, is it possible? Like, price can also range for a while, or what?
now, what I think for EU, in all honesty, is I think we're gonna head to the downside. To be very honest. Now, of course, this is not a guarantee, but I think we're not going to have this range. Okay, I think we're gonna have. Personally, what I'm expecting is we'll close down here, we'll retest. Okay, forming that break and retest, right? And then we head to the downside, and then we'll stall for a moment and break it, pull back, test the head to the downside. That's what I'm expecting of EU, to be very honest, for the next few months. Now, is that going to happen? We're not sure. We have to see what happens. But so far, I don't really think that we're going to have another 2-year range on EU. I don't see it. In all honesty, I don't see it. So I am actually preparing for shorts on Euro USD. So just about see what happens, right? Now, overall, we have been to the downside, and then we moved to this for a while. So this break would have been like the deciding moment as to whether or not EU is trying to switch trends. But if that's not the case, then I like to think we're gonna have a retest. So this would be like a break and retest, right? And then to the downside, and then another break and retest to the downside. That's how I actually perceive Euro USD. So I think we just see how that plays out. So all right. So moving on, pound USD as well. So one of the reasons why I wasn't so sure that EU was going to head to the upside was also because of the lagging effect from pound USD. Pound USD on its own was already rejecting key level, which was like if the USS would move together in most cases. So if pound USD was deciding to reject the key level, then most likely it will be a fake out. It wasn't a guarantee, but it was like an added confluence. So again, we still need to see if that's the case. So we'll allow the week to pass, and then we'll get more insight. And the US is also heading to the downside. Like I said, more than likely we're going to have these downtrend continuations. So, and then the Swiss franc. So AD CHF, everything is just pulling back, right? CAT CHF. Let me see. CAT CHF, Euro CHF, Pound CHF, NZD CHF, and then US CHF. Interesting as well. Now, there's also a question about this as a break and retest, but it's also looking like I'm going to break it. Now, it's not sure, of course, it's not certain, but again, let's just see. Right, the week will tell us, give us more information, and I think we're going to work with that. So what it means is, I think if we have positive data come up for the US this week, that might put more strength for the dollar, and of course, cause this guy to totally break. So what that means would be exactly this might also be a fake out. And like I said, this is a very important key level. Like, for example, we've not broken below this level since 2024, and then actually since, like, let's see, 2015, when the Swiss franc had this very serious issue 10 years ago. But like, aside this event, we've not really had the market drop past these levels. So if the market is going to break this level, it's going to be like an important thing, right? So it's either going to be a clear breakout or a massive fake out. So, which is why, yeah, the month is interesting. We'll see what happens. So, I don't know if you guys have any questions concerning currencies. If not, then we'll move over to metals and indices.
So Cassie, for the fake out, unless a price or the market have break and retest pattern before you say that it won't like it's not a fake out.
Yes. So you see, that's the thing with key levels, right? When price breaks a key level, it is always how do I put this now? It's always tricky, right? It's always tricky. So when price breaks a key level, you can't be so sure if that breakout is a breakout until you see how the next few months react to the key level you broke out from. So if it pulls back and finds support, then most likely it's going to break out. Now, sometimes you can find support and then still break below, right? As a fake out. But when price finds support, it just gives you more confidence that this trade might continue in the direction you broke out from. But whenever you see a breakout and the next month breaks back into the level, then most likely it's a fake out. So whenever price breaks out, it's a good thing, but it's tricky. So the next month's price action or how price comes back to test the level is what kind of is like a defining moment as to if really that's a breakout or not. So in cases like this, I mean, if the market closes like above this guy, then of course, then that's most likely a fake out. Another thing that I look out for is the direction of the trend, right? The direction of the trend. So if it's a downtrend, it's a breakout, I have to check for that as a pullback to the downside. Also, if the market are like very extreme key levels, and also what is going on with the fundamentals, these things also kind of like play a part. But for the most part, just looking at the technicals, it's a breakout and a retest. So if it's not that, then I don't get involved. 100%.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
While we're still on the breakout thing, I wanted to know, how do you clearly identify or differentiate between a breakout and a fake out?
Okay. Thank you for that question. Now, how do I differentiate? I think it's like I explained. It is the next month's candle after the breakout that helps me differentiate. So let me give you an example. So let's use let's use the price action on EU. So I'll take this back and sorry, please, what's your name? I can't your name is not here on Telegram. So what's your name?
Oh, my name is Lucky.
Sorry, what?
Lucky.
Blacky.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see that we had a breakout here on Euro USD, right? This is a breakout, clearly. But then how do we know we can buy this? Okay, how do we know we can buy this? We can only do that if the next month comes back as a retest. So the next month comes back as a retest and then does something like this, would find support and then reject, right? So the next month comes down, finds support and then rejects, or comes down, does not close below it, maybe does something like this, and then the new month will now do something like this. In this case, it's still a break and retest, right? So you're on the lower time frames, this would be a break and retest. But as long as this guy does not break, either he rejects, or this guy rejects, or stays above the key level without breaking and closing below. When we see something like this, in most cases, it is a break and retest. That would not be a fake out. But whenever you see a candle breakout and the next candle is doing this, it is more likely a fake out. So that's like what we're seeing on EU right now. So exactly. So this shows you that there is really no break and retest here because the market is supposed to find support at the level after breaking out. But that's not what it's doing right now. So an example of it's beautiful. So this is an example of what I mean when price is finding support. So we broke out here, we had this here, we tested once, tested twice, tested 3 times. So this is the 3rd month of holding GN. I bought in March, I think late March, and I've been holding the buys since then. I've held these buys since then. But the interesting thing you're seeing here is that the market is not breaking below the level. It has tried, but it's not. So even though this might end up being a fake out, it's kind of different, right? As opposed to when we have a breakout and then the next candle just breaks back in. So these evidences of price finding support at the level is what I want to see for me to get long. So it just shows you that, yes, this level is indeed a support level. So I think that better explains the point. I think pound card also exactly beautiful. So this happened as well. So broke out in September of 2024, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it took 5 months at the key level, but it never broke below. It tried to break severally, but it failed. In fact, I took my first buys here in October of 2024, and I got stopped out. But I didn't shy away from taking the buys. I came back again in February, and I bought the second time. Why? Because the market never broke the key level. So you see the difference between this and here, EU. That's the difference. So what I want to see whenever I'm looking to buy or sell, of course, in line with the trend, is that the market will break out and, of course, find support at the level. So, yeah. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it did make sense. Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, any other questions? Just before we move on to listen. All right. So let's see. Okay. All right, Captain. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you please take a look at Euro Pound?
Oh, EuroGBP. I was looking at that guy too. I don't trade EuroGBP, but I think I missed an opportunity there. I was looking at EuroGBP when I was trying to review Abdul's journal. Let me see. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, this idea. I don't trade this guy mostly because I think Euro GBP and AUD NZD, these are 2 pairs that I don't enjoy trading. The reason is because they don't really trend, right? For example, the euro and the pound, these are two very strong currencies, and in most cases they are base currencies, right? So you would hardly find the euro behind any of these currencies here, right? Hardly. In fact, you never really find out. So you see that these two currencies, even the pound, right? So you see that these two currencies are so strong, and they are base currencies, very very strong economies. So they don't trend. Remember, for a currency pair to trend, one currency has to be so strong and the other has to be so weak. So a pair like Euro GBP would not always trend. In fact, I want you guys to look at this. Since 2017, we've not really had like a clear direction. And this is the money time frame, mind you. We've not really had a clear direction you get. So I can only trade this like using key levels, like I'm doing here. But in terms of like a trend, we hardly get it. So I don't really bother myself looking at it. Like I can come here 3 months later and then nothing has set up, right? So I don't really bother myself trying to trade this guy because I know for a fact that my win rate will not be so high because the pair doesn't really trade. So I don't really bother. And I think 80 NZD. So I'll come back to your GBP, but just to explain the point, let me see. 80 NZD as well. Exactly. So you see, we hardly ever get a trend, like one direction. We hardly ever get it. So I don't really bother myself trading this guy. So think about it. If I was trying to look for a buy or a sell on this guy, I would have been waiting since like what 2022 because we just been moving sideways since then. So that's why I don't trade these pairs. But coming back to what you asked, so let me have a look. So I look at this guy today, and yeah, I think this is how we're looking on Euro GBP. I think we're going to continue to the downside to at least test this key level. We've not tested the level. We tried. We went back to the key level. So we didn't test. So I think we're still going to come down and test. Also, the euro is, like I said, Europe is down bad. So I think euro will still suffer some more, at least against the pound. So I don't really see. And then it's still like a range, to be honest. So if anything, more downside. If anything, more downside. I don't think this support is strong enough to hold, to give us a breakout, like a change in trend. I'm not seeing it here. It can happen, of course, but I don't see it. So maybe to stop for a bit, but then ultimately I think we're going to test. Now, since we tested this resistance or this key level, we've not tested this other key level, so I think we're going to test at some point. Now, of course, look at how important these levels are. Now, I've not come here in like months. Now, the market came up here and tested and then to respect the level. So just to show you how important key levels are in trading. So again, I think we're going to test. So I don't know. Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? What are you looking at first of all? That's the big question.
Okay, Casey, personally for me, on Euro GBP, I'm actually looking for buys on Euro GBP.
Okay. Looking for buys. Perhaps
Yeah,
how about
so
you?
and it's down to the level. So I'm kind of waiting for a confirmation, maybe on a much lower time frame, the 2 hour or the 4 hour time frame, maybe multiple rejection or bullish engulfing. Then I can take my longs from there. So that's actually what I'm looking for on Euro GBP. I'm actually watching it, but buys for me.
All right. So, Captain, I think you're also looking at the same thing, right?
The same thing what Carlos said. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Now, I think for the most part, if anything, it might be short term. If we're going to see this bounce, it might be short term. But I'm also considering the overall trend, like the overall structure and everything. So, personally, it's not a trade I would take, considering the trend. But yes, it's a spot level. We can agree on that. But I don't think it's enough to give us a breakout. Maybe you will, but if anything, maybe just back to the key level. That can happen. I think that's a more sensible play than trying to hope for a breakout maybe. So I mean, trying to hope for a breakout means you're anticipating a whole new trend change. Let's see if we get that. So first of all, we have to be sure that it will bounce. So since price is at this level, want to see how price reacts. How price reacts to this guy before you even take a position on the original. So let's see. All right. So any other questions? If not, then I think we can just move over to indices now. They are pushing, yeah, they are, and I think it's not really a new story now. They are pushing. So like we said, the market is churning. Like the US stock market is churning, and in fact, global markets are churning a possible trade deal, and that's why we're seeing equities rally. So the dollar is strong, Japanese yen is weak, the Swiss franc is weak, and equities are rallying. All of my trades are doing really, really well, which is impressive. The S&P is up 3% today. Now, funny enough, or interestingly, I think there might be a gap to fill because some of these markets actually open with gaps. So we'll see. Maybe the market will come down and fill this gap. Who knows? But yeah, the market is the S&P up 3%. This guy is up 1.8. They're all doing really well, but then they open with gaps. So it is possible. It is likely. I would not be surprised to see these guys come back and fill these gaps. But ultimately, I'm still expecting more upside. They're all pushing, but we're only in like 3 positions at the moment, which I don't think is so bad. All we have to do is now just wait for the others. If they set up, fine. If they won't, yeah, oh well. I will take the three return sitting. Yeah, this guy was nasty. Yeah, this guy. We missed it, but he was nasty. It was nasty. It's fine. It's okay. The Nasdaq is also doing well. 3.87%. They're all doing well, to be honest. US 30. I have my alerts down here. So some of these guys, I just have alerts down here just in case they pull back. The pullback fine if it turns. I will just take the three we have and then walk home with profits. What else? I think I have a breakout. I'm expecting a pullback here, so we'll see if that happens. Gold, on the other hand, is down 3% today, and for obvious reasons, I like to think that for the most part, since there's progress with trade wars and uncertainties are also kind of easing out, that also plays a factor in the little downside of gold, and I like to think that we have more downside. But yeah, we'll see. Like we discussed in the last session, we are coming a double top, and we can either use this, right, this or this as the neckline. But the market has to break for us to look at a trend change. And patient, right? Just patient. Now, I'm not really interested in buying, not until we come down here. So, yeah, we'll see how that happens. Copper got long today on copper. We finally have the break and retest that I was waiting for. Yeah, taking longs. So we'll see if this plays out or if this stops out. Now, for the most part, we're like all-time highs, I would say, on copper. And sorry, but like at all-time highs. So taking a bar here is such a big ask because it's a question of will copper really make new all-time highs this year, or will the market just maintain its all-time high and then I'm gonna have it jump to the downside? We'll find out. So, but yeah, copper is a trade I'm in right now, and let's see how it plays out. Now, in terms of the key level, this is the key level, and you can see that the market had a breakout and a pullback. So this was a pullback last month, but as you notice, we never broke below the key level, which is interesting. So since we didn't break below the key level, we come down to the daily. And even though we didn't break, interestingly, we have the pattern, right? So this was not enough for a buy because the breakout happened in the same month, like I said. So this was the breakout confirmed, and then I was looking for a pullback. But of course, the same time period where we had the tariff and uncertainty. So most of these equities had a serious dump, like we saw. So there was no opportunity to buy this guy as a retest. So we dumped, broke above, and retested. So the same thing that the S&P, the Nasdaq, and some of the assets did, some of these equities did, is the same thing that copper is doing, and I'm going on. Now, it's not a guarantee, of course, because again, it's a big ask. We're simply asking copper to give us a new all-time high right now. So, but yeah, we'll see. Copper will either do it or not, right? And I'm only risking 1%. Now, if this trade plays out, I have to up the stakes because I'm looking at somewhere around 40-45% with my running trades. But with this guy added, we might be stretching towards 50% because the trade idea is somewhere around 4.5%. So I'm now trying to increase it from like 40-45 to now between 45-50. So again, massive gains, really massive gains if this trade, if all of the trades play out. I think it will be an impressive feat to record only 4 losses or less than 10 losses this year, and to have as much returns this year. I think that would be very impressive. So, what else? Palladium metals are down for the most part, and that's not really a surprise. Palladium is just below break even, nothing too crazy. If we look at how the market is looking, so pretty much break even, to be honest. Platinum is also sideways, just above break even as well. So I think these guys will take a while to play out. Yeah, it's all good. What else? Silver. Yep, nothing until we break out. So I think this is the most I have. Yeah, that's true. I was looking at oil. Hold up, hold up, hold up. No, not cocoa. Yeah, let me see. Interesting. So this is oil, and yeah, this is US oil. So I'm actually looking up for buys, but I think uncertainties around this trade wars really needs to settle out because it doesn't really look good for oil. Sometimes also global tensions, right? Wars between countries. I think some countries were going at it. I think it was India and what's that country? I can't really remember. I think India and Pakistan. Yeah. Whenever there's like trade wars, geopolitical tensions, actual wars between countries, it tends to affect oil. Like the price of oil tend to drop. So that would not really favor oil buys to the upside right now. So, but then we need to see if these things kind of ease out, and then oil gives us something like this. I think oil might be worth the short to the upside because overall we're like to the upside. We're trading to the upside. If we look at like the long term trend, so oil might be another trade idea that I'm watching. I'm just looking at it, so we'll see how it begins to play out. So here, I think this is the most I have for you guys. Some other opportunities are setting up, so just have to be patient. With the addition of copper, I now have 11 trades in my portfolio. Let me see if I can pull up one of the links I have. Let's see if I can do this. Just show you guys one of the accounts I'm testing. I think I've showed you guys before now, but let me do that again. Yeah, I have to sign in. Let me see. Okay, so hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so So I'll adjust my screen so that I can show you guys um this account. Now it's a big account, and I'm just kind of testing the system on the account. I'm just trying to figure out something interesting about it. So let me see. Yeah, so account, okay, account 4, okay. So yeah, so this is the drawdown, impeccable, right? Impeccably set out, 2.85%, which is fantastic. And running trades. So if I close the running trades now, I would have around 138%. Sorry, $138,000, which is beautiful for this account. And if you come down to, I think the running trades are here. Exactly, you have $110,000 running this account, 225,000 pips so far on the account. It's $110,000. Incredible. Now, of course, we have swaps which we have to pay for if you're holding trades, but that's besides the point. So, but then this is the equity, the balance, the equity, which is very good. I think, let me see here, almost 14% on this equity just for the trades I started opening recently. Now, these are aside the trades I opened last year that closed this year, right? So just running trades right now. So we see how this plays out. And like I said, we have new trades coming in. Now, if this all these trades play out, this account would be around I think 450K, maybe towards 500K, because like I said, I'm expecting something around that. So, but this goes to show you that again, you don't need to do too much in terms of returns. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm still looking at more things to add. I'm also looking at going into futures, like trading futures, because I can have access to the underlying assets to trade. So I'm looking to do that because sometimes some of the CFD brokers don't offer all the assets that I'm watching, right? So I'm looking to delve into futures, but that's like something for a different day. But this just shows you how much you can make if you have much capital to your side. And we're going to also speak on how to raise capital, prop firms, and the likes. But this just shows you that if you have, yeah, I don't know, 100K, 200K, 300K in prop firms and whatnot. For example, this is $1 million account, and this account would see somewhere around 450 to 500K if all of the trades play out. Now, this is aside all the new trades that I set up. So it just shows you that this is crazy. This is beautiful. Now, taking up the drawdown, 2.85%. It is less than 3%. Okay, and taking up how many losses that the system has incurred so far this year, 4 losses, just 4. We're in May. We're like almost halfway into May, and the system has recorded 4 losses. I watched over what, I don't know, 40, 50 assets, right? And I hold as much as 10 open positions from time to time. And never would these 10 trades stop out at the same time. If any of these trades would stop out maybe once or twice, 2 a month, 1 a month, 3 a month at most. So you see that less trades, better quality, better rewards. So I like I've explained, I focus more on the consistency of the returns rather than trying to make too much returns, right? And mind you, this is just one system. You can create others. I'm also working on others as well. So if you combine all the returns, it's really crazy. Like I promise you, it is. But yeah, I hope this makes sense. I think I just wanted to point this out to you guys because I've been testing this. So I'm just giving you guys the updates on what I found so far. So here, and I think if you guys don't have any questions, then we might look at some journals. I think Abdul, I was not done looking at yours, so I think we might speak about your journal now, and Damien as well. Promise, I had a little issue trying to log into Anytype. I'll show you in a bit. But do you guys have any questions concerning the chart? Um, anything of that sort? If not, here, let's just look at some journals just before we close. All right, good questions. Impressive. So let's let's look at some journals. Okay. So I also have to adjust my screen now so that I can show that. Let me see. Okay, so can you guys see this aspect of my screen?
I think it's still like earlier on, like it's still loading, like it's not showing anything.
Ouch. Okay. But did you guys, when I was sharing my other screen, when I was explaining like the equity and everything, did you guys see that as well?
Yeah, we saw everything then, like everything was clear then, but right now it's still loading, like, it's not showing anything.
Oh, okay. Let me try sharing again. Right now.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, it's clear now.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Sweet. All right. Let's see. So, Damien, I think you're here. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're here. So I had a look at your journal. Now, I think the returns you have here for April and a little bit of May, but it was sort of difficult to get some things because I didn't really see any charts. Now I saw a link to Google Drive. When I tried to click it, it was requesting access as well, which was confusing as well. So I wasn't sure if this, because I think if I click on this is what it shows exactly. So I don't think let me see. I don't know. So Damon, speak to me. What is in the drive? Is it your charts? Because I could not really see your charts from here.
Yeah, it's the chart, the before and after. So I think I'm going to application.
Okay, so now I think to make this easy, because if you think about it now, I will need to get access. Okay, so I think is there a reason why you choose to store it on the drive as opposed to just putting the link to the chart here? Is there a reason why you want to store it in the drive?
There's no reason. Like it's the easiest way I found. Like I found out I could do it. So normally I take a screenshot of both before and after, and I put it into a Word document, and then I take a screenshot of both of them, and I share it into my drive, and I paste the link to the application. So I have before and after, but I have one snapshot.
Okay, so how about instead of taking screenshots, how about you just copy the link? Do you know how to copy links on TradingView, like the actual trade links, not a screenshot? Do you know how to do that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, you don't. So, forgive me, guys. Let's just go back. Let me show you how to do that. The reason why I want to show you so that you can use links instead, because it's much better. Because now for every trade you have to go to a Google Drive to see the report, and that was like more stressful for you as well. So with a link, it's just easy, right? Just copy and paste it. So I will show you how to do that in a bit. So let's go back. So yeah, now if you come here, you have this at the top right, just before publish, where you can publish your trade idea. You have the camera icon to the right, the top right. So if you click on it, you have different options. Now, personally, I will take screenshots, right, myself, but here, copy link. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, sweet. So whenever you want to take a trade, just come down here, click on copy link, and then you have the exact link, and then you can go over to your journal and then paste it, right? So when you want to take a trade, you do that. When after the trade plays out, you do that as well. That way, it just saves you the stress of trying to wrap up everything in the Google Drive. You get. I mean, I get the point of the Google Drive. It makes sense, but it's just easy for you to journal with this, right? Because it's like much better. So,
Now,
So I
location.
think I'll have to take it in.
yes, Johnny, you were saying something.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, um, is it alright if we save the image instead, or
Is it right? What?
if we save the image instead? Well, download when you press download the image.
It's not wrong to save the image, but the reason is that I think with Notion you can only use a link, right? So I think it's better you just use the link instead of trying to save the image here. You get, because with Notion you can use a link here, just like example like this, right? Whenever I click on this, it takes me to a new page, but then with the actual trade idea, so I can see it on like on a different page. So I think that's like a much better way to analyze the journal than saving the image, if that makes sense. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so Damien, it was kind of difficult to look at the charts myself and actually see the trades. So that's why I didn't do much here in terms of a review. Now, something else I wanted you to add is some of the other criteria that you did not have. Okay, so I want you to also include these things. For example, trade type, right? Trade type. It's not here. Is it a continuation? Is it a reversal? We don't know. What else? Entry type. So I think you are
After what
sorry, come again.
I have like types. I mean, like types. So I don't know what you mean by trade type, so that I'll know what I'm adding to the charts, to the journal.
I'm sorry, I didn't really get. You said you're not sure what it is.
No, I'm saying yeah. So I have type, right? If you look at mine, I have type. So long or short. So I want to know what you mean by trade type. As in,
Oh,
yes.
okay, I get it now. I get it. So, okay, so long or short, this is beautiful, right? Long or short is good because it helps us see what you did if you bought or sold. But trade type helps us to know if you were taking a reversal or if the trade is a continuation trade. So as you can see here, this is a reversal, this is continuation. So it gives us an idea of what kind of trade you took. Was it a reversal? Was it a continuation? Something like that. So that's why trade type is needed. Um, Also, structure. So I think you missed some of the things here, like some of the filters, some of the columns you missed it. So maybe take a screenshot of this, right?
Okay.
Because this is pretty this is complete. Abdul Journal is pretty complete, right? I think colors as well, Captain as well, aside his links and charts. George also is almost there. So I think this is like pretty complete. So you can use this as an example to adjust yours. Okay, so let me take a screenshot and use it.
Okay. So I'm taking the screenshot.
All right, please. So let me take it back. So yeah, take a screenshot if you have to. All
Yeah,
right,
hello, Casey.
Let's just to the right so that I'll take the other part of it.
okay, yeah, Johnny, I think you had a question.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I wasn't able to send you my journal yet because it's not fully updated. I didn't get to finish putting in the links for the images.
So when do you think you can complete that?
Yeah, probably by later tonight.
All right, that's fine. That makes sense. That makes sense.
But also
Okay.
knowing how to send you the link to the Discord.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So, top right, you have share. So I think you have two options, right? You can either share so that one can edit, or share so that one can view. So whenever you come down to this part here, you're gonna see it. So just do that, copy the link here, and then send it to me on Discord. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So yes, so I think that solved that, Damien. And I
So
think, like I explained before,
I'm waiting for you to scroll to the right. Yeah.
okay, so here.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Is it done?
Okay, done.
All right. So yep. All right, like I said, I think that solves this. So you can just, as you try to impute your recordings for May, you can just adjust this and use that. It might be better. Now I hope we're adhering to the little adjustment we spoke about, which is that for every for the trades you're trying to record now, just make sure you have a demo account you're taking the trades with, because it makes you accountable, right? It makes you very accountable to the trades. Please, that's an adjustment we have to make. Okay? Let's make sure that the trades we're recording for May, let's make sure there's a demo account on the side that is taking the trades alongside. So that when you have a certain result from me, it will be very similar to what you have on your account. Right? This helps you to, yes, track better. All right. So, yes, Abdul, I think you're here, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, sweet. So I had a better look at your journal, and so this is what I was trying to do, guys. When I said that I needed you guys to feel it like this, it was for this very reason. So, let me take this out. Good. So now this is Abdul's journal, okay, and you have different months that have been recorded here, but I want to pick out some things. I want to pick out some similarities between the wins and the losses, and here's how I want to do it. And that's the reason why I asked you guys to use Notion, because it is Notion that can do help us do this. So we come down here. I want to sort this now. So I'll start by starting with results, and yeah, sending. So what this has done is it has adjusted the journal in a way that I can see the losses and the wins. So what I want to do now is look at the similarities between the losses. So these are all losses, right? So how many losses were because the trades were reversals? How many losses were because the market was in a range? How many losses were because it wasn't the breakout retest? These things matter, right? So I want to see if I can make this adjustment. So let me see trade type. What else? Structure, right? Let's see. Okay. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 losses. Now, out of these 12 losses, I noticed that 5 losses were reversals. But very interesting is to also see that among the wins, you had 5 wins that were reversals. Okay, but let's look at the losses first. 5 losses were because they were reversals. But then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 continuation trades. Now, what I noticed when I was reviewing is that some of these were tricky. Like, some of these are not properly recorded, right? They were like mix up that made the journal very inconsistent. Like, not inconsistent in like it's not complete, but like inconsistent in the sense that the trades were like random, right? So let me show you examples of what I mean. So when you're having a system, okay, when you're trading with a system, all your trades should have very similar patterns. Okay, for example, your break and retest trades, your breakouts and retests should all be similar. Okay, so what I understood while reviewing our journals collectively was that for the most part we don't have an exact plan we use, like a written down plan that we follow. So it's something that I want to include. But then I also noticed that for us to have a plan, we need to backtest, because we can't create a plan out of thin air. So part of the things we're going to do after this review is, first of all, backtesting. We'll go back to backtesting, and then afterwards I'll show you guys how to create a proper plan, okay, so that we can use this moving forward. So you see how important this review is, because it's showing us a lot that we didn't know about the system to trade. So yes, going back to some of the examples, let's see. Let me see what. So silver, highlight here. All right. So what did you say about silver? You said that it's an uptrend.
Actually, the silver, my entry time was actually 4 hours.
Yeah, that's what is there, right? It's there on the journal that it's a 4 time. So yeah, let's just see what got you into buying silver. So uptrend continuation, which ideally means buys, right? You took the buys on the 4 time frame, and then it was because of a breakout. So let's see. There was a loss, and okay, so now interesting. Now this is what I noticed, right? And this is where I said there were some inconsistencies with the way you recorded your trades. Not with the way you recorded your trades, but with the trades themselves. For example, I'm trying to understand which of these was the breakout. Okay, I'm trying to understand which of these was the breakout. So I'm guessing it's the second screenshot, because that is what stopped out, right? But then it makes me wonder, how did you classify this as a breakout? Abdul, I don't know if you understand my question, because
I'll start the question. Actually, I've been on the trade that year. So I just decided to just set some killers above the first take profit. Like, I've been on the trade from this monthly key level that I set down here. So I took my profit here and I set another key level up there too, and I put up with a buy stop that, okay, whenever the price break through this daily key level that I set above here, like price should just trigger or something. So that's what I meant by breakout.
Right. But now, here's the thing, right? Think about it. You took a breakout of this support level. You had a one-to-one stop, a one-to-one risk to reward, and then you placed another rectangle above your take profit. That's not a level, right? First of all, that's not a level. So I'm trying to, you see, we don't take these trades based on, again, not based on how we feel. We always make sure that our trades are to a great extent systemized and with a solid plan. So I don't know how or where. I'm trying to make sense of how the second idea is a solid plan. I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm trying to say here. Because the reason for your buys, as you explained, is you took the buys after you took profit off your first trade idea. It's not because of the structure. Or, yes, it's an uptrend, yes, but it's not a solid trade idea. I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm trying to say here. So, and it stopped out. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
took a
yeah,
loss.
yes.
So you took a loss, but what's the reason for the idea? No serious particular reason. You get. Now, these are the type of trades we avoid. Now, secondly, I can see from the journal that you had a win with a breakout, which was also silver. So I'm guessing it is this first trade idea that worked out. Now, it goes back to the one question I have. Why do you make it a one-to-one risk and reward? Why was it a one-to-one risk and reward? Yeah, I
Yeah,
can hear
okay.
you.
Actually, I asked the question. There was a time I asked the question that, okay, it's about the duration of some market or something, like, is it possible, like, okay, I can just take partial profit or something, like, so after the price move forward, then probably I'll just decide to take my entry again or something. So actually, the trade was 1 to 3 risk reward. You understand? So I just cut it short and I see the other price stop again. So actually, this time around, like, it was something that I was trying, like, let me just say, a strategy I was trying then. So whether to work out or something, I had the same idea on pound card, because I've already taken my profits on power card or something. So I now set another buy stop or something. And meanwhile, while seeing the result of pound card and result of this silver, I noticed that, okay, I don't think it's something that will work out or something. So this time, like, it was, let me just say, a strategy I was trying then.
All right, I get it. So, but now you see that yeah, you were testing it out, but there is no foundational basis for that, right? And it just shows you that this is not something that can work long term. Remember, guys, okay, the system to trade, we're trying to make them work long term. Okay, we don't want to make money of it for like a few months or a year or two, and then begin to lose money, right? So we're trying to see how these systems can last very, very, very long. So let's keep that in mind as we trade. So
Okay.
first of all, the risk reward was really not the best, really bad if you ask me. And um, the second entry was not just it. So what I ask here is now again, the reason why I say that is so inconsistent too is because of the two breakouts are different, right? The two breakouts are not the same. One is a breakout of like a support level, sorry, a resistance level, and the other is a breakout of. It's not really a breakout, right? It's not really a breakout, if that makes sense. So you see that without looking at the charts, we might think that these are two individual breakouts or maybe resistance levels. But now from the charts, you can see that it's not really the case. So what I can see here is it is obvious that you don't have a foundational basis for taking breakouts. Okay, so unless you go and test a breakout system, right? Unless you go and test a breakout system and come back with the stats, making sure it's a system that works, then I don't think you want to take any breakouts on your account or on your journal. At least so far, that's what the journal is telling us. You get it?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
All right. So, I hope that makes sense. Now let's look at something else. Okay, so I have two scenarios where you took continuation trades, but the market was ranging. You took continuation trades, but the market was ranging. And then, hold up, let me see. Now, you lost those two trades. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Yeah. Yes. Hello.
I said you took two trades, and these two trades were in ranging markets, and then you lost both trades. What does that tell you?
Okay. Pound JPY and Euro CAD.
Yes, you.
Okay. I think this trade. I think it was due to my tight SL. I think so. No, it's been like it was a trade right from January. So
So what does that tell you about ranging market conditions that you're trading in?
So, like ranging market condition, like I think it's something that I know. As I said it earlier, like yeah, it was in January or something. Then I was trying the strategy or something, and if you notice most of my trade right from March and April, there is nothing like a ranging market there or something. So I've been avoiding it.
All right, sweet. So we've seen two things. Where I can see the entries here. It is fairly a range, and yeah, and look at how the entries are in between the levels. The stops are not above or below the levels. So you can see from these two examples that these were losses that you could have very much avoided. So it shows you that right now, maybe you don't want to be trading ranges, right? So we'll look at two things. Very first thing is breakout, and now range. Okay, the breakout, and now range. So it's clear that you don't have a system that works in a ranging market. Also, you don't have a system that trades breakouts. Okay, so until you go and actually test a system that handles these market conditions, it will not make sense for you to be trading them. Actually, so far, that is what the journal is telling us. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now I noticed something else. I think it was this trade. Let me see. Yes. I probably go to the greens. Let's hold up a little bit. All right, cool. So yes, it was gold. Let me see. It was gold. Now gold is an uptrend, yes, and it was a confirmation, which means buys. This was in 4-hour time frame, and it was a retest of the key level. Now you lost the trade. Let's see what the trade looks like. It looks like you just have one screen of that. Let's see. Interesting. So would you say now from the journal it shows here that it was a retest of the key level. Now where is the key level? Where would you say the key level is located at?
Okay. Hello.
I can hear you.
So, yeah, what I meant by key level is that when the price drawed back onto the on my key level, like that's what I meant by test of the key level. So like I took my entry
So
exactly on the key level there.
I get it. But now the question is this a key level? Is this a level? Is this a key level? Is it?
Okay, actually, I considered it as a key level, but I think not a strong one since the key level was set just on the daily time frame. I don't think it wasn't set on you on the weekly time frame, just on the daily time frame. So I can just say that it's not a strong key level.
Good. Now you see, it also matters, right? The retest of key levels matters because a level on the 4-hour time frame is not the same with a level on the weekly and the monthly time frame. So this is matter. If your retest of the 4-hour level and you have a retest of the monthly level, they are two different retests. Okay, they are two different retests. Why? Because the number of times a retest of the monthly time frame will play out cannot be the same number of times the retest of a 4-hour level play out. It would not have the same win rate. So you can't place them under the same thing. They can't be in the same placeholder. You can't. So it's a 4-hour level. Now, this is what I was saying. Hold on. So yes, retest of a 4-hour level. I think that makes sense. So it's stopped out. So let's go to the losses once again. So you have EU. I don't think there's the chart for EU. If you use the chart for EU. So EU was, I think this is the trade we all took.
Yeah. That was the trade we all took then. Like,
Yeah, this is all took.
I think that was in March. That was in March or February.
Yeah, the trade we all took that stopped out. So on the daily, it was a continuation downtrend, break and retest, stopped out. Okay. Now we talked about the two ranges. Now we've spoken about silver, how the breakout is not the breakout. Now, what we're noticing with gold is that you have a retest of a 4-hour level. So we want to highlight that, okay? And then we're going to look for patterns of retest of 4-hour levels and how many of those played and stopped out. Okay, we'll check that as well. So you have ADNZD, let me see, uptrend, continuation, breakout and retest, and then stopped out. Let's see. Sorry. Sorry, who's it from? ADNZD, right? There you go. Okay, ADNZD, I remember this trade.
Yeah. It was a trade I asked you about then. You said you don't think there's much volatility on the trade then. Like, actually I was already on the trade then, but I just asked for opinion then. But you said you won't likely personally, like, you won't take the trade since AUDNs and there, like, there won't be much volatility there on the pair.
Yes, that is very true. And secondly, I pointed out that the breaker was not confirmed. It had not completely broken out. So I wouldn't want to jump into buys when the breaker was not confirmed. These are the things I mentioned. I was looking to buy ended. So that's also a problem, right? So now again, look at how the reckoning can be very misleading because is it a break and retest? Yes, it is, but it's a break and retest of the key level on the daily time frame, but it was not a breakout on the monthly. So going by my plan and my rules, it's not a trade I would take. So it is, my very opinion, another avoidable loss. Okay, so now let's look at these trades we've seen so far. I'm trying to get a similarity between them. For example, the breakouts and retests. So far, there is nothing similar between the breakouts and retests we've seen. So you see now that even though it's a breakout and retest, context matters. For example, EU is a breakout and retest. But is EU the same breakout and retest as ADNZD? No, it's not. Even though it's in line with the trend, even though it's a continuation, even though they are both on the daily time frames, look at the difference between the entry types. They are supposedly both breaks and retests, but ADNZD is different because ADNZD did not break above the key level on the monthly time frame. So can we place these two trades in the same placeholder? No, we can't. So you see how much important a review has, because without trying to dissect these things, you think it's normal, you think it's the same, but it's not. Because ordinarily, you'd expect that within the first 5-6 trades that we've seen here, that the breakouts and retests would be similar, but they are not. They are very much, in fact, very different trades. There is something different about each of these breakouts and retests. Is that not interesting?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, very interesting. So let's move on to the next break and retest. GB card uptrend continuation. It's on the daily time frame. It's a breakout and retest, but it's stopped out. Why? Let's find out.
Yeah, I think that's quite similar to silver.
That's what?
I mean, it's quite similar to silver. Like, the same idea that I use on silver. Like, after taking my profit or something.
Oh. Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. All right, pound card. So, yeah, this was the idea. Interesting. So this is similar to silver, although I think the level was like down here because I think pound can bounce off this level, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah, it's bounced off. It's bounced off. Like, after being taken out of this trade, like I took my entry again then. So after like few days or something, I later took my entry then again. Because
So you have a recorded trade for pound card as a weight, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I have it.
All right, this guy. Let's see. Interesting. All right. Let's see. Pound card. All right. Now I want you guys to notice something, right? So he took a break and retest, and it stopped out. Right, stopped out for a loss. So he bought here, and then he stopped out. Now he bought the second time here, and he took a 1 hour win. So again, Abdul, you're using a 1% as your target. I'm still trying to figure out why. Like I'm still trying to make sense of why it's like that. Because think about it, when you buy at some of these levels, what are you expecting? Ordinarily, what are you expecting?
For the price to bounce off and skyrocket, I think so.
Good. Now, for the price to bounce up and skyrocket, in most cases to create a new high, right?
Yes.
Good. Now, if price does not create a new high, at least price will get back to the previous high. So, but then your reward is not set up like that. Does that make sense? Your reward is not set up like that.
Yeah.
So you see that also needs to be adjusted. And now, very interestingly, you took a loss on the same idea on pound card. Why did you take a loss? Let me see what you wrote. But I want you to, I think you'd answer me here, but I want to see what you. All right. So now the point here was high volatility. All right. And now let me see the win and pound card. All right. So yes, I've seen what you said, but I want you to answer like just answer here. You took a buy on pound card and you took a loss. Why? What would you say is the reason why you took a loss?
Yeah, actually, I would say that the reason why. Okay, are you talking about the first loss that I took on pound card, right?
Yeah, the first loss on pound card.
Actually, first of all, like, I wanted to take my entry right above the key level, like from and I think the mistake right here is that my SL is tight, like my SL is really tight or something.
Okay. Yes, your SL was quite tight, but that's not just all. I want you guys to look at a similarity, or not a similarity, like the difference. So somebody else, right? Somebody else. I want you to look at. Let's see. So this guy, okay, this first idea he took, and the second one. someone outside who is just watching this, what can you tell is the difference between the two trades? Something that stands out to you. What can you tell?
Are you referring to candles?
No, I'm just speaking of the reason why the trade stopped out. I want someone else to tell me what he or she thinks as to why the trade stopped out. You get. So anybody else? It's what party here?
Okay, can you hear me?
Slightly. I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, I believe I'm audible.
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, good. From what I can see, a breakout and a pullback, a retest. Then probably Abdul for sure was waiting for a confirmation to go long, which I think after that day that it actually tested the level. The next day was a kind of a bullish candle. So to him personally, he's feeling like okay, good. And from what I can see, which every other person can see, I believe the day he took the trade, um, I can actually say that it was actually as a result of FOMO that he got involved. Cause like the previous day bullish candle formed, then the next day it was already taken off, and like that's to my own humble opinion. Like, am I missing out of this great opportunity? And then boom, he got into ID, and also he stopped at, you understand? Because that it was already going on the bullish direction, but we can see that it had to back, and the market movement changed, which turned out to be bearish, and he actually got stopped out. Then for the second, and secondly, what I can see to that as well, I can say that he kind of got so high, but where you took this long close to the key level, his stops would have been somewhat way below those levels. So he also kind of got so high. That's the second thing I can point out there. Then to the second trade that is having here, that is having there, actually another high buys, yeah, another high buys, but not really bad because that's like him now taking out this trade on the daily time frame. Yeah, I believe the second idea should be a daily time frame trade, which he now puts his stop below previous that took him out. That's just the thing. That's what about
All right. All right. Thank you. Anybody else who would like to say something? What stood out?
Yeah, me too. What I would say is about I can see the break and retest, but there was no support really for him to go for the long, and also his risk to reward was a little bit different from the way I've seen it. So in the first
Very
place, price did not find support. Yeah, and the risk to reward too was not.
very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you. Anybody else who would like to just add a comment? All right. Okay. I promise.
I, I would like to say something.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I would say within the no candle confirmation.
Beautiful. That is true. So we're all correct. We're all correct. And Abdul, if you notice, one thing that stood out is that I want you guys to, once I switch between the chart, I want you guys to look at the levels where he bought. It might not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal. And I think George pointed that out really well. When he was trying to buy here, there was no support. In fact, it may be he moved the level up to make this trade idea fit his plan. Maybe he saw that daily candle being green, and he wanted maybe he saw the daily candle being green and he wanted the buys. So what he did was adjust the level
Yeah,
to that.
Casey.
Yep.
Yeah, after the retest, the first bullish candle, like I didn't buy on the second on the first daily bullish candle. So I bought on the second day bullish candle, which then I expected a three tops. You understand? So like that's how I took my entry then.
Okay, that's fine. But the emphasis I'm placing is on the level, right? Where you were buying from, if you go down here, you see that this is actually the support level. It was a little lower, right? But because price is already trying to find, it looks like, as Carlos said, maybe it was FOMO, right? So it was like, let's use the level at the top. Let's use that week. Maybe it will bounce from there. But you see now that it was the main support level that price tested before bouncing. So what it means is the levels we use are important. How we place them is also important, right? We don't just want to place them at the top, like pick just one. Let's make sure that we're using the exact support level. That way, we can stay patient with the ideas. Okay? That way, we can stay patient with the ideas. Secondly, we need to allow the trades to bounce, right? Let's allow it to bounce properly because, like you said, you took the trade the next day. But it seems like the daily candle did not fully close to kind of like help you fully understand that was the case. And even if that was the case, your stop was also quite tight. So some of these things contributed to the loss you took. And that's why you had to take a loss first before then taking a win. But now, here's why it is very important to have proper risk to reward. The reason is that, think about it, you bought pound card, and the trade idea did play out, right? Moved up to, I think, the previous level or so. And you were break even at most because the next trade you took was a 1% win. So you broke even on an idea that seemingly is still open and still playing out. When ordinarily you should make a profit up of it. So these little differences kind of matter in our trades. So the part that you were break even on pound card, one loss, one win, break even. Were you really supposed to be break even, or is this little adjustment affecting your performance? That's what this review has helped us to see. You get. So so I think that makes sense. We were at pound card. I think we'll just maybe continue on Thursday. So on Thursday I'll just run through this and look at promise. I think yours is the last one. I think then John is left. So just run through this and then we'll go back to the very basics, which is backtest. So I want us to create a plan, a solid plan that we can now use for our trades. But before we do that, we don't want to create a plan out of nothing. So we need to backtest. Okay, we need to go back and test. So that you're going to create a plan out of the data and the stats that you are going to pull from your backtesting result or your backtest session. So I think that's like the next line of our agenda. So so we looked at the continuations, but you saw that even though these were all continuations, there were differences with the trades. You get differences with the trades. That's something that we have to watch out for. Now, I think on Thursday, maybe look at the wins and look at some of the similarities. I'll just do this myself and then let you know, right? Just bring all of this to you. But the reason why I want to do them with you is so that you can see what I was looking out for and how I came to this adjustment, things like that. But I think you've gotten the point of the things you need to take home, the adjustments you need to make. I think some of these things are already clear to you. So let's see how you can work on these adjustments. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I really gained insight from this review. Like, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Of course. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I think this is where I don't know if you guys have any questions concerning his journal because we can't be completing the journal today. We need to take our time, and there's still some more things to look at. So I think we'll just have to continue on Thursday. Okay. Like I said, the month of May is pretty much a month where I want to use just review journals. Yet I'm not really in a hurry to finish up. But once we're done with reviewing journals, we'll go back to backtesting. Now, I initially thought that would include that in the bootcamp, but to be honest, backtest is not also a discussion to have just one day. Okay, it will take a couple of sessions to actually settle that topic. So I would not want to just throw that in the boot camp because the boot camp is just going to be once of the next month. So yeah, um, let's see. You guys have any questions? Then yeah, fire away. But if not, then maybe this is where we'll cut the session short.
Hello, Casey. I don't know the new the next boot camp will like each once every.
Yeah, once a month. Yes, I would have to discuss with Momo. He's been traveling a lot this week, so last week, sorry. So I'll discuss with him, and yeah, I'll let you guys know. But if not the third week, then maybe the last week of May, most of. So
All right, no problem.
all right. But yeah, so far again we're doing good. May has been fantastic so far. I haven't closed any trades yet, but yeah, so far so good. Now, in all honesty, I don't think any trades are close to hitting take profits because the highest trade in my portfolio right now is pound card, and yeah, pound card is still nowhere near take profit. I think the next trade is CGFJPY, and it's also nowhere near take profit. So maybe we're not taking any profit this month. Maybe we'll see. And if that's the case, then that's okay. As long as this trade continues to, move in our direction. So, yeah. In the absence of any questions, I think this is where we'll call it a session. We'll call it a night. We'll be cutting here. And of course, I'll see you guys on Thursday. So the week has started really good, and hopefully we end the week on a better note. And yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And yes, see you guys on Thursday. Right. So once again, yes, thank you guys for showing up, and I'll see you.
All right. All right. Oh, thank you, Captain. Thank you very much.
Of course, man. Of course, anytime. I had something to point out. So I am now uploading the sessions to YouTube, but I'm kind of behind. I think I'm behind by like maybe 5 or 6 videos, but I think that will be done this week. So I think from next week, once the session is done, I think after a day or two, you guys will have the recording uploaded on YouTube. Like I'm uploading these other ones, but I'm kind of behind. So I'm trying to upload the older ones, and now once we're in the timeline, or once we're right to the timeline, then every week once the session is done, you guys get a recording of it so that you can watch it that week, so that it stays fresh in your head. Right? So, but yeah. Besides that, you guys have a wonderful week. See you on Thursday.
Okay. Thanks, man. Have a wonderful week.
All right, man. So, stop recording.